Welcome back everyone. We're on the Giants Editor today in the Jules Peaceful Valley map, and this is a Farming Simulator 19 map I'm working on. As you can see, have a little bit going, the roads and different things. Got a lot to do over here still, some more around the edges and things, but we're working on the power poles again. We've got all these done here. It's time to start running them this way. I would like it if I could have kept them going in a straight, you know, order, but I think this is going to be fine, and we'll worry about this little section here so we don't have to separate them or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and move on from this spot here, but hope everybody's been enjoying these different episodes and seeing the progress of the map, and hopefully we can get it going so we can work on some other things besides the roads and besides these power poles. But there's quite a few we got to place, so I'm going to get moving. But appreciate everybody. Thank you for all the new subscribers and everybody that's been staying tuned. Thanks for watching these episodes through. I appreciate everybody. So now we've already done this pole, so we need another one of these with a transformer on it right there, that little box. So we're going to roll up in the list, and as you can see, we're going to click on the one just under it. Then we know we can pull it in from wherever in the world it is on the map, and we'll put it right here. So we're going to hit Control B as in boy, left click. So that's how you get that there. And then once you're there, we're going to move this over, because this is our measuring tool that I'm using. It's actually one of the road markers, but I'm using it because of the size of it. You can literally use whatever you want to measure things with. There's millions of ways to do it. So you could just pick an object and measure with that. You could do a lot of things. So you just kind of pick what you want and go from there. So now I'm going to lower it, try to get it lined up better. We're going to rotate this a little. Okay. Back off a little if it'll let me. Come on. There we go. About right there. Gonna back off and look at the distance and see how I like the distance of the poles. Alright, so this one needs to come over some. So we're gonna click back on the pole. Make sure it gets the whole group of the pole when you click on it. And now we're gonna back it off, bring it over. Try to get it further over so we can adjust the distance here. I think that's gonna be decent. It's about right. It don't have to be perfect. Alright. So now we're just gonna drag it over into this area, into the edge of this marker. Now we're going to lift it or lower it, whichever way we got to go to get this into the ground barely. Just watch this little bottom part and put it in the ground. And then you need to rotate it. I accidentally clicked off of it, so now I need to click back on it. So now we need to rotate it for the lamp to shine toward the street. So the blue arrow is the direction the lamp is facing, as you can see. So now we can look at this from this angle. Make sure that these are pointing the right way. They're a little crooked, so we'll try to turn it somewhat. About right there, I guess. Be good enough. And that one's done. So if you like the distance, then you move on. So then we're going to click on this one. And in this case, we're duplicating them because we took the rest of them out of the list because they were shorter poles. And we stuck them in this one here. If you want to know how to do that, look at my previous episodes. It's on one of them. And if you want to learn how to get the utility poles in the map, if you had made a blank one or using a blank map, then watch my previous tutorial. So there's a playlist, and should be able to see which one it is, exporting and importing power poles. So now we're going to duplicate. So you can highlight it and hit Control D for dog and duplicate it. Drag it over immediately so that you know you're dragging the right one. If you click off and then click back on, you might drag this one and not the one you duplicated. You want it to be the one that's last that you're dragging over in this list. So we've done that. So now we got to decide how far over to go. So we're just gonna eyeball it. I might start making them go a little further over because these were a little further. Let me see. See how they're a little further than them. So not much. I'm gonna go a little bit further and maybe make it stretch out a little more. We're gonna move this over because we gotta use it as our measuring tool. Now you don't have to measure them. You can just randomly place them. They just won't be all in a pretty good distance, but from the row they won't line up or whatever. But you can just place them. You don't have to do this. So it is kind of time consuming. So just choose what you want to do, but this is a way that you can do it if you like it to be equal. Alright, make sure you highlight the whole thing, not just the poles, the lines. And then we're going to drag this back and bring it down. Drag it back some more. We're going to come where we can get a better look, make sure we're touching, and bring it over a little. Alright, so that's good. Now we got to bring it down, lift it, bring it down till it goes in the ground. See how when you can tell when it goes in, you just go a little bit. Then we're going to decide if this angle is right. We need to turn it, so we're going to turn it. Somewhere along those lines, and then this one's through. So then you just keep moving along. You can just click on this, move it down about how far you think that the power pole should be, lift it up. You can tilt it this way when you start moving on the ground there, and just slide it back, roll on into it, get it situated. We're going to be doing, when I finish the roads and when I finish some of the power poles, I might not even do all of them right up front. We're going to try to work on some of the more important things like I like to do. I like to usually do things like cell points and things. So that's the plan. So I'm going to try to do that as soon as possible. That's going to be for the FS19 map though, for now. Hopefully can be doing the other one soon. I'm going to download this stuff as soon as possible, that I can begin a Farming Simulator 22 map. Alright, let's have a look. Alright, that's a little bit far, ain't it? Unless I stick the pole on the edge of it, I probably could do that. Let's click on this one, then we'll click the one under it. Now we're going to hit Control B as in boy, click right here, left click, and then left click again. Alright, so now we're going to move right along. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment, ask your question, and I'll do my best to answer it if I know the answer, or if it's something that's going to take more of a video to show you the answer, then I may have to just wait till I do a video, because some things wouldn't be able to be explained in the, by writing it to you. So, but I'll try to help in any way I can. Don't know everything, but I try. I know a lot of the main things, but I don't know everything about map making, obviously. I don't think too many people do. There are quite a few that are pretty good though, so they might be close to knowing everything. Alright, so here we go. Lift it, put it just under, and there we go. Now we're going to move on to this one again, and we're going to hit Control D as in dog, which duplicates it. You're going to drag it over, drag it back. I say that's about the right distance. Drag this over, lift it up, and now we can move on to this one. And it's just the same old thing over and over and over again. So then you just keep moving it. If you don't understand the little thing that's, I call it a gizmo. I don't know what the technical name is. You just lower it with this one here, the green one. It turns yellow when you're on it, and you just lower it. Grab the blue one, just hover over it, and then left click and drag over. And then this red one turns yellow when you're on it. Left click and it moves. You drag it around while holding the left mouse button. This red one tilts it this way and that way. And then this blue one, I don't know if you can see it, this blue little half line tilts it left and right like that. And then there's this green one tips it around on the flat surface right and left. So you can move it all about till you get it where you want it. And now we're gonna put the power pole into place. Click on it, make sure it's all highlighted. Put it up against this back side of this because that's what I'm using for my measuring tool. We're gonna lift this up, then put it just below the ground. As soon as it goes in, we're gonna tilt this around because we need this power pole to point better. Let me see. We don't want to go too far. Somewhere along those lines. And I think we pretty well got that one. And now we'll click back on this one. We'll click on the one under it. We're going to hit Control B as in boy. Click there, left click, left click. That's about the right distance approximately. Drag this over. Lift it up. And on we go. So hopefully, once I start doing the cell points, all the different things you gotta, the main things you gotta add, trigger, all the things, the trigger, everything. We'll try to move on to more like fun things like decorating and painting and stuff like that. I was working on my waterfalls, but I had changed the size of the map, so it messed all my work up. So I put a halt on that for a little bit. I'm going to come back to it before long. I'm going to have a nice waterfall over here. This is my waterfall spot. It comes all down this and all. I had it all set up. This was since 17. I was working on this since 17, but I couldn't, my computer wouldn't let me do what I needed to do, so I got a new one. But basically I didn't get that until well after 19 was around and just before 22. So I went ahead and got the FS22 game. So I still got a lot to do with my map that I had originally started in 17, but I really couldn't do anything on it because of the computer. So, but this is the ground and everything that I was working on. So, but let's get back over here, but we'll get back to that soon. Hopefully get the waterfalls going too, which will be nice. Uh-oh, grabbed the wrong thing. Thought I had this other one selected. Alright, so now we're going to turn it, face the road a little bit. Try to see about these power poles here, how they're lining up too. Alright, so now we're going to drag it over till we touch this. And then we're going to roll in a little bit closer. Lift it and then touch that. Now, all set. Now every now and again you should save, so I'm going to hit save. But I didn't say that on some of the old episodes, but that should be standard when you're in the map making. So try to save often. And now we gotta move on to the next one we duplicate. So let's click back on this one and make sure it's the last one. Control D as in dog. Click on the blue arrow and drag it down to approximately where you think it should go. Somewhere along there, I suppose. Now we're going to click on this, move it down. I think it needs to go a little further. I don't care how far apart they are, they just need to move down some. Alright, let me find that marker somehow. Looks like it is hiding from me. There we go. As you can see, it's the marker in the end of my Road 14 list, so I'll have to put it back to Road 14 when I'm done with it, and or delete it at least. And then I'll duplicate a new one from this one here. Either which way. Alright, so we're gonna lower this, drag it back, roll in, bring it back. There we go. Click on here, drag it over just a hair, bring it over to touch that. Gonna back off, look at the angle, looks pretty good. So we're gonna roll back in, click on this little arrow here, lift it, and then just put it in, barely. Alright, so now we're gonna click on this, drag it down. That one was quite the distance apart, but that's fine. I think that about what I could do is a marker. What you could do is you could, if you was always at the same level, you could use this circle from here to here and use that as your distance, like that. You see the distance, here's the dot where the power pole would be, and then this would hit that. But sometimes when you're out further, it's different, so you'd have to always be out at the same level, so you couldn't really use it exactly unless you stayed at the same level there. Alright, let's move down a little more. Alright, so now we're on this one. Alrighty. Click on this pole. Alright, no, we want to click on this pole. Click on the one under it. Hit Control B as in boy. Don't get confused. Click again with your left mouse button. And then just bring it over. We're going to bring it to the edge here. We're going to go ahead and turn it for now. Get that lined up. Something like that, I guess. Now we're going to look at the distance. It's too close. Either that or we're going to have to move this one. We might move this one over. I'm going to move it over. About right there. Go double check that it didn't go too far in. Nope. It looks pretty good. Alright, so now we got all that done. Come back in. Click on this one. Make sure it's all highlighted. Click on this yellow one. Lift it. Put it just under. There are not all going to be the exact same distance under, but it'll be close. Now as you can see, we got our power poles coming along. And we're heading right on down to the end right here. So we'll see how far we get on this episode. I don't know if we'll finish. Try not to make the episodes crazy long. Hit Control. Hit the wrong button. Control D. And then go on and move it. Drag this over. Try to get it equal distance between each pole. See what we got here. Something like that. Drag this over. Bring it up. Alrighty. Put it down. If you haven't seen the channel, I have a playlist of all the different tutorials on map making, so check it out. I'll show you different things, so you probably learn something. Not perfect, but I think I do a pretty good job of explaining stuff, making it super easy. I don't usually leave out too many things, too many details. Try to show you step by step. So alright, so I'm going to turn it, because obviously it needs to turn that way a little more to line up with coming into that pole there. Alright, and let's have one more look at it from this way, seeing if it how it looks. Yep, it's about right. So we're going to click on this one, make sure it's all highlighted, click on the one under it, Control B as in boy, left click, and same process over and over. If you haven't seen the roads being done, I have a video on teaching you how to do that with the Spline Street Constructor. And if you watch the first one, you'll see the video of a certain YouTuber that had a Google Drive with the stuff. The first link, the link that I put in that video is no more good. They took the site down, so you'll have to look on that YouTuber's channel if you want to get the road stuff, the application to make the roads, because if he still has it, you'll have to watch his videos. He did the tutorial on them too, so you can watch that and hit the like button, and then look in his description, and maybe you can get the roads if he still has them. I don't have them available right now. I'd have to set up a thing, so I don't have that right now. Alrighty, let's see. Now we're gonna roll down, gonna lift, and just under the ground. And we're going to check the distance. It looks okay. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like it should move a little more. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to move it a little more. About right there. Go back in and make sure I'm touching. Yeah, close. And I'm going to go a little further since this is on that curve there. It's not quite touching this little piece here. Alright, so that should be good. Move on to the next one. Some of the stuff said the tutorials will work for 19 or 22, but some of them might not. 22 did change some things, so you just have to test it and see, or and obviously when I was recording the 19 ones, I wasn't even thinking of 22 or looking at 22. It wasn't even a thing, so on some of them. So now we're gonna duplicate this, Control D, let go. Now you're gonna drag it over, bring it on over. Gonna jump and see if that's the right distance. Looks like we should go a little further, something like that maybe. So I'm going to drag that on down and do it like that. Twist it about, move it back. And it ain't going to be perfect on these curves because it's not going to hit just right. We're just getting an estimate of kind of where it should be. And we're going to click back on here, make sure it's completely highlighted, and drag it over. Twist this where that faces the other power line, or power pole rather, and that should be approximately where it should be. Now we're going to roll in just slightly so we can lift this and then put it right in the ground, barely. There we go. So now we're on this curve, which is pretty interesting. We're going to click back on this one for the light, click underneath it, Control B as in boy, click it where we want it. If we like that, we just leave it there, move it back just a hair out of the way, drag that over, up, back, put it back down, and we'll run on over here. See about this part. Don't have to be perfect, just as long as it's the center is what I'm worried about, because that's where I'm going to put the pole, right in the center of it, right there, pretty much. Now we're going to lift it just under, then we're going to spin it around. In this case, we'll just turn it a little bit more, even though the light's there. We're trying to keep it at a decent angle with this one. because of how they're gonna run. If I even add power lines to it, I don't know yet. We'll see. And I think I already got that pretty well where it needs to be. So now, click back on this one. And of course I didn't highlight the whole thing, so I'm going to click on it. Now the whole thing's highlighted. I'm going to hit Control D as in dog, and then drag it over. Drag it back. Try to put it where the next one's supposed to go. Let's see where that looks like it's right. Somewhere along there. And we'll move this right here. Right on over. Roll down. There we go. Adjust it a little bit just to see. Pretty good. Click on the pole. We're going to rotate it. About right there. We don't want it to be extremely crooked. For the next one, let's click back on there and make sure. Clicked off of it again. Just make sure you got the whole thing highlighted. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Alrighty. We need about one or two more. We'll stop about here. So we're going to go ahead and I think I've already lifted and lowered this, but maybe not. Let's lift it and lower it. Lift it out, then just barely back in. And now we got to get this one again. As soon as I click on it, click on the one next to it. Control B as in boy. Move it on down. Alright, so I might back this one off a little. Somewhere along there. And I might add one more of the other ones. I guess. Not sure where the light's facing, so let's find out. Okay, so it needs to be spun around. Alright. Fix that just a little better. Somewhere along there. Bring this down. Alrighty, now we'll click back on the pole, move it over till we touch that, lift it up, and then put it just back under. We should be good. And last but not least, we're going to duplicate this pole, make sure it's fully highlighted, Control D, drag it over, move it back. We're going to put it over here about a corner. We're not going to get too close to the corner, but we're going to try to keep it where we can start a new corner on the other one. We may move this later because it's on the corner and we don't have that road in yet. So I'm going to try to do it like this. Bring this on over. And I can imagine the road coming across there, so it's about the right distance. We'll fix it if we need to. Plus we'll have to turn it depending on what we're doing. If we're probably just gonna keep running this one this way. We'll jump across and then stop here, but not on this episode. We'll go ahead and end it, and we'll finish that little stretch on another episode as to not make the video too long. There we go. Now if I was live streaming, it would be a little different. You know, you could go a little bit longer. You could go a few hours and it not be that big a deal, but when you're just doing a video, it's best not to go crazy long with it so people can watch it and enjoy it. Alright, so that's good, and I think I've already lifted it, but let me double check. Maybe I didn't. Nope, no I didn't. Lift it and bring it back down. Alright, and then always save. Click save. And don't move the mouse. Let it do its thing. Wait till it finishes. See it spinning. Let it do its thing. Alright. So now I got all these in place. and then we'll move right along this road to here. Then we'll figure out what we'll do from there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. We got a lot done here on this little curve. Got the farmhouse there. But please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you want to receive a notification every time I post a video. Goodbye, everybody.